ख़वातीन हज़रात अस्सलाम वालेकुम। सिब्तैन काज़मी आपके सामने पेश खिदमत हैं, आप और आपके एक और एपिसोड के साथ। मेरी हमेशा ये कोशिश होती है कि कुछ ऐसे लोगों को अपने प्रोग्राम में लेकर आऊँ who are not politicians, not filthy rich or whatever, एक आम साउथ एशियन जो एक रोज़मर्रा ज़िंदगी में होते हैं और उनकी what are the challenges they have in life and potential. So today I have a guest who was born and raised here, originally from Bangladesh, and we talk about her life. So without any delay, I would like to welcome Miss Aanika Rahman.
Hi.
Ms. Rahman, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good, good. Well, first of all, thank you very much
Yeah.
for coming to our show. And
Thanks
I
for
know
having me.
it's nowadays with all the corona and whatnot is going on, it's difficult for people to get out of the house and things like that. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So without any further delay, I have been doing this show for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And on the previous shows, I have different guests, people, girls from Pakistan or from cricket leagues, all different sort of life. So the reason I brought you is that A, you're born and raised in America. Mm-hmm. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about yourself. What do you do? What's your daily routine? What is it?
Yeah, so I've been married for 7 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I have a 19-month-old daughter.
Wow.
So she's getting big. My 9-to-5 job, I am a business analyst at Booz Allen Hamilton. So I
Okay.
do that during the day, work from home, and by night I'm an influencer. So
Influencer.
right. So just keeping up with social media, recognizing brands, working with brands small and large that, I support, whose products I like. So I just like to recognize them, put them out there, share my life. My platform is based on my lifestyle, beauty, fashion, home, my family. So, yeah.
So when you say influencer, what do you mean?
So it's just, being kind of a
You influence people?
yeah. Basically I influence people with my lifestyle, my day to day, what I do from morning till night, what I'm cooking for dinner, what my child is wearing, what I'm wearing, just things like that, kind of showing everyone that this is where you can purchase my outfit, or if
Okay.
you like this product, this is where you can grab it. So just sharing my favorite
Okay.
things,
So,
and putting myself out there.
Okay, so let's say, I don't know, a hair product,
Right.
right? You come across a hair product which you like and
Right.
it works for you good, for you and all that. So do you tell about that one particular product to who? Who are these people?
To all my followers on social media. So
Okay.
whoever follows me or whoever comes across my page is able to see that. So I do recommend products that I love. So for an example, the hair product, anytime I find something that I love to share with my following and, have them have the same experience.
Okay, so during the day it's Booz Allen,
Yes.
right? And then a 19-month-old daughter.
Right. So juggling all
Daughters
that.
are fun.
Right.
They're a lot of fun. So, and then the social media part comes in.
Right.
So, your job, I'm like, is it you working from home because of COVID, or has it
Yeah.
always been like that?
It's always been kind of
Okay.
remote, but because of COVID, I got onto a new project, and that wasn't particularly, remote full time. So because of COVID, it's helped.
So work
being-
from home.
yeah.
So you
Yeah.
save at least hour going to the office,
Oh,
an hour
yeah.
coming back. So 2 hours out of the day, you're more productive.
Right.
And then you can do. I'm just guessing. I'm not. I don't know what corporate America is about.
Mm-hmm.
I've never worked in corporate America, so I don't know how that operates.
I mean, yeah, it's busy. It's definitely busy. My husband and I are both, working from home, and taking turns with our daughter, so it keeps us really busy. She's fun, she's amazing, but when I'm, busy with work or I have meetings that I need to attend to, he's
Correct, correct.
there to help out.
Oh,
And if-
fantastic. Well, that's what spouses are,
Right.
that's what spouses do for each other.
Right, so.
Okay, so now that brings me to a point, and as I was saying in my introduction, that your daughter will be the second generation
Right.
born in America, right? Your parents were immigrants, right? And they are the one who left everything back home for a better life in the land of opportunity called United States of America. And they worked hard and bring a good life for their children, right? In that process, like my father, he was 58 when he came to America, right? And so they had their challenges, right? Because they are in between the culture, what they left behind, the language, and the whole country, and try to learn new things in this country. So they sort of get torn apart. Right? The reason I'm talking so much is I'm just giving you a background.
Yeah, no, of course.
Then it will be more clear to you what I'm saying. So they were torn between their culture back home, whether it's Bangladesh or Pakistan or India, whatever, right? And then at the same time they're trying to adopt what is here. Now, some parents want to implement their thoughts into their children. The child who's born and raised here is thinking, wait a minute, I want to celebrate Thanksgiving or Christmas, but there's nothing going on in my household. I'm not saying that this was the case in your household,
Right.
but that was like a genetic idea that, hey, I want to do Thanksgiving.
Right.
And parents are saying, wait a minute, this is not our culture. We don't want to, we have nothing to do with Thanksgiving. This is American. It's like, well, the child says, we are in America.
Right.
So what are your thoughts about that?
So,
About those challenges, that how parents try to not enforce, but sort of, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. No, of course. I mean, there are so many parents, that immigrate over here, and I've had friends or known people in the past where they're having the same issues and they're kind of going through what their parents, brought into the country and kind of forcing it onto them and we don't celebrate these holidays or we don't do this. And I think I was lucky with my parents for them to understand and kind of listen to me when I would go to school and I would learn about these holidays or learn about things from my friends that I made, to just explain to them, like, this looks like this is what's normal here, and I know you guys don't understand it, or maybe you do, but I would like to celebrate it. For an example, Thanksgiving. So I think that was just more of a cultural thing and less religious thing, which is why they were more open to it. And they were like, let's do it. We have kids growing up here. Let's celebrate Thanksgiving. So we did, and over the years, as the years went by, they immersed themselves even more into Thanksgiving, to the point where now my dad's cooking a turkey himself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's really cool to see that over the years. As far as Christmas goes, I always asked if I could put a tree up as a child, and that was obviously a hard no. And that's, of course, because also religion is coming into play, right?
Correct.
That was the balance where they were able to make us understand, like, hey, there are certain things we're okay with when it's coming to cultural things, and then there's certain things we're just not okay with, where Christians wouldn't celebrate Eid, for an example, like that's our holiday.
Correct,
so
yeah.
I understood that, and now I do decorate my home for the holidays.
Of course.
So of course I love lights and things like that, and after over the years, my husband and I were married, they came to an understanding, like, okay, it's fine. It's just for decoration. It's not like you're, doing anything religious. So I think that's how they kind of came to terms with things like holidays. And as far as other things, I was lucky to be the eldest, to kind of break down a lot of barriers for my siblings as well, and kind of introduce my parents to new concepts, new ideas, and how we can all meet in the middle. So
And they were open to that.
they were open to that,
Okay.
which is good.
Which is very important.
Yeah,
Yes.
which is very important. I think at the beginning, like probably when I was in high school in my early days of college, they weren't. They were very strict with me. You know, it was really hard for me to go out. You know, I'll be honest, I did lie a lot because that was the only way I could go around and do, you know, anything I wanted to do. Not that it was like out of
Your
boundaries.
parents are listening. Your parents are
Oh yeah,
watching.
they're
Okay.
listening. They know.
No, it's you're a mother yourself.
Right.
So they're like, okay, that's all water in the bridge. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
all right, please continue.
So they know, and you know what they didn't allow me to do, they now allow my siblings to do, right? Because it's been normalized in my household. So I think my siblings are lucky to have me in a way, also. So
You sort of like open the doors for them.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So in high school, did you go to your prom?
No, I did not.
That was a no-no, right?
That was a no.
That was a complete.
Didn't matter what I wore, who I went with. It was a no.
That's a
Yeah.
no-no. So did you at that time feel left out? That
Absolutely. Yeah, I felt left out. You know, all my friends were going, and
the limo, the dinner, the dresses,
Yeah.
the tuxedos, a whole lot, right?
yeah, absolutely. And I saw that, you know, even culturally, it was more accepting for the guys,
Oh,
for boys
I was
to
about
go.
to get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, my husband went to his prom, and there was no issue, but I know his sisters didn't go to theirs. So
Okay.
it's just, you know, kind of the same thing where it's the same thing in my family. You know, my brothers went, and my sister and I didn't. And I think that's where I get a little bit, you know, trying to talk to my parents and trying to let them understand, like, you know, if we're doing things the right way, I think, you know, both guys and girls can go, but I think that's where it's a little tough in our culture, and I think, you know, I can speak on behalf of most people.
Of course,
so,
absolutely.
yeah,
Because, you know, like when I was interviewing some girls from Miss Pakistan,
right,
and they are in their 20s, right? Quite young. And I was shocked
yeah,
that their parents had no objection in these girls to be a participant in the pageant. Like Zainab, rest in peace, she was a very good friend of mine. And the first time when she came to me with an idea that I want to do Miss Pakistan, would you join me? And I was like, Zainab, it's not going to fly. I tried to do Miss Pakistan a long time ago. I couldn't get a single contestant. And Zainab told me at least 3 years after what I said, I was like, Sibtain, I took that as a challenge. So I'm talking, when I tried to do the Miss Pakistan, it was like in the 90s, right? And there was no girl will come as a contestant. And Zainab doing that shows that parents, people your age group, their parents are coming to realize that now this is home.
right,
And yes, keep our traditions and our culture with us, but let's add something to that as an American. So you have a daughter.
right.
She's young, 18 months, right? When she gets to be 18 and she's ready to go to prom, do you think your parents are going to object? Or your husband's parents, the in-laws?
I don't know. I think they're just going to leave it up to my husband and I to just make that decision and make that call. I think that, you know, when that day comes, it'll probably be so normal for them, you know, at that point maybe, or because it's
so
been
16
years.
years away, yeah.
16 years away, so, I mean, I don't know. I don't think they'd prefer her to go, but I don't think they care.
They don't object.
Yeah, I don't think they would object.
They're sort of like, you know, now as a grandparents, our job is to spoil our grandchildren.
Right.
Instead of doing the rules and regulation, we have done that with our children.
Right.
So I'm like, but you said, so do you have, or do you know of any friends, you don't have to name anybody, who come across to these problems even today? Like they're married, you have kids, sort of like, you know, same thing as you and your husband. The parents are still influencing or have influence in the married daughter or son's lives and still trying to implement their culture or enforce the situations from back home. Are they still around, people like that?
Yeah, couple people are, and I don't think those people, when I think the parents are so forceful on their children who are, that they have their own lives, they have their own families now, forceful and not trying to come into a middle ground and assimilate into the culture that they brought their kids in, it doesn't create the most amazing relationship you do end up having with your parents if you all, come to a middle ground. So I don't think they have the best relationships, with their parents. And I feel like if they communicated more and kind of agreed with, each other more, then I think they would. But, I mean, yeah, I know. I mean, I'm sure there's more people out there like that. I only know just a couple. So.
Because, see, like, my father, I don't have my father anymore, but if he was alive, we hear his stories from his college days or school days that we walked 5 miles and we studied under the street lamp and all that, right? Then they move here, so we hear that, like, people my age, they will say, yes, we worked here and we worked at McDonald's and we worked 80 hours a week and blah, 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 right? And so they are sort of like 3 generations into I don't know how long you've been, you've been married 7 years, you have a 2-year-old daughter, so I'm guessing you are in your 20s,
right? Yeah.
Right? So 20 years ago, that means 2000, right? So in 90s, there was a huge transition among immigrants coming to this country. And a boatload of people came from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Nepal, whatnot, and in South Asia and Middle East. And they all went through this hardship. So that generation who came in the 90s, they try to put the guilt trip on you, right? That we worked so hard to give you the life what you have today.
Right.
Right? But I think that all the parents do that.
Right.
You're a mother. I'm sure you have spent sleepless nights with your daughter.
Right.
And I'm sure and your husband as well. So all the parents do that. But what I would request to you is look in the camera and give a message to those parents who try to enforce their thoughts into their children, and also those parents who interfere in their daughters' or sons' marriage. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Think about it. 30 seconds. Camera is yours.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
She's thinking, ladies and gentlemen, do not go away. Do not touch that dial. Let her think. All right. I'm in the spot right now.
Yeah.
Light is on.
I'm on the spot. Okay. So, to those of, to the parents who are, very involved in their children's lives, who are married, who have their own kids, who are trying to still force certain aspects of culture and into their lives, I think it's really important that you and your children sit down and have a conversation and just talk about, the middle ground between the two cultures. I think it's really important because when they have children, that's second generation, and it's going to be really hard for the parents to accept, what their grandkids are going to be doing. So I think everyone needs to just have a conversation, meet in the middle. I think that a lot of, the air can be cleared that way, and kids can have better relationships with their parents. Their grandkids can have, better relationships with them as well. So yeah, just assimilate yourself a little bit into the culture. I mean, you came to America after all, so this is what you want, and this is what you want for your children. So yeah.
I like the fact, the point to be noticed, stimulate yourself into the culture.
Right.
Very, very, very weightful sentence, this is, that stimulate yourself. Because it's very difficult. You know how they say, you can't teach new tricks to an old dog, right?
Right.
Somebody trying to tell me new things, especially when it comes to technology, I'll be like, I'm going to hire a person who's going to do these things for me. I have no idea, and I don't have the mental capacity to learn new things, which is a very difficult thing. You're young, so you guys are full of ambition, and sky is your limit and all that, right? And I hope you get there. However, for people my generation or people older than me, it's very difficult
Right.
for us to, like on Eid, we will proudly wear shalwar kameez and go to the mosque and then go for lunch to a friend or whoever. But to invite somebody over or go to somebody's house on Christmas morning is a difficult thing, right?
Right.
So Booz Allen, how long have you been with Booz Allen?
So I've been with them for 4 years now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's
Wonderful.
nice.
So how do you like it?
Love it.
Why
They treat
Booz
me
Allen?
well. I don't know, I was jumping around a lot of other IT firms in the past, and Booz Allen was just one that stuck. I
Okay.
just liked the work I did. I liked the people that I was working with. Everyone is great. Leadership is great, and I've been able to work remotely comfortably as well. So that's a big plus.
Correct. You know, my daughter is going to be 21 this November. And I've always heard the sentence called generation gap, right? And what I see in the next generation is that there's a very sentence which your generation uses very commonly. And there's nothing right or wrong about it, it's just I'm trying to understand the background of it. You guys do it a lot. Do it this way because it's easier. Why that thing is so important, to do things easier?
Because our generation, I think we work smarter, not harder.
True.
I think there's,
And you have the tools.
Right. You have the tools. We have all the tools that our parents did not have.
Correct.
So I really can't imagine what their life was like when they were my age, and trying to do the same things that I'm doing today would be very tough. But yeah, work smarter, not harder. I think there's a lot of resources out there available to people, so people just need to venture out and take advantage of those resources.
To that, how do I say it? Okay. For example, I need to send you a contract. Okay. Now, I attach it, DocuSign or whatever. Boom, you read it, you sign it, send back.
Right.
All of that could be done in half an hour.
Right.
Right. Before, I will write it up or type it up, right? Print it, put it together, mail it to you overnight or whatever, right? So now the things get done faster because the technology is there. However, and please correct me wrong, I'm trying to understand a point of view from a younger generation. That if do it this way because it's easier, if that becomes a lifestyle, do you think there's some side effects to it?
Side effects.
I can give you an example. You go to the mall, okay? Where do you park? Closest to the door or farthest from the door? Most people say closest to the door. Why? Save time. Okay. A, you save time, and what do you do with that time? B, if you park closest to the door and you came out of the car and ran inside that mall, right? So whatever is behind you, you have no idea what is there. Maybe a new car, maybe something suspicious, whatever, right? So that's a discussion I always have with my children, that yes, do it this way because it's easier to a convenient factor. But if it becomes, and again, this is coming from me, I could be 100% wrong, and you tell me what it's like, that if it's coming, I'm looking at it that people are more in a rut. High school, college, job, marriage, kids, tea in the evening and 7 o'clock, and that's the life, right?
Right.
It's all in the box. So do you think it's that this sentence is putting you more in the box in your generation?
I don't know. It's really hard to say. I think our generations, we think very, very differently. I completely understand where, you were coming from with if you parked further, right, away from the mall, for an example, you'd be able to see what's in your way, maybe have a new experience, maybe meet someone on the way to the mall, and you never know, life can hit you. So I definitely think there's a lot of advantages to doing things the traditional way, where you're actually immersing into what you're doing and learning everything about it, learning every detail, even if it takes you a while to get it done. but I think we look at our generation, or me specifically, I can't speak for my entire generation, we look at things in a way where let's get it done, let's make it quick, let's make it fast, and then if we need to come back to learn more about it, then we can.
That's the problem.
So
People don't come back. Because, like, for example, like cell phones, right? What is this? It's a machine, convenience. Anywhere in the world you are, you can contact whoever. However, and everybody's phone number is in their contacts. You lose your phone, you won't even know how to call home because you probably won't know the phone number.
That's very true.
Right?
Yeah.
So the basic motor skills are, I think they were being effective.
Right.
And technology is a great thing. I'm all for technology. However, it's difficult. What do you think? Is it difficult to find the medium ground between rely too much on technology, or just like cars.
Right.
Every car have a reverse camera.
Yeah.
So we don't turn our neck
Right.
and look behind us. We just camera says it's green, it's good. Camera could be defective, whatever.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So going back to this, that do it this way because it's easier.
Right.
Second message, look in the camera and tell the generation that yes, it's a good thing, but I didn't mean to force you on that. Like, I know you are all about do it this way because it's easier, it's more convenient, it's quicker.
Yeah,
right?
technology.
But do you think? Forget about the message.
Yeah.
But do you think this technology or technology to that level is somewhat affecting the basic motor skills?
I agree with you. I think it does. I think people just sometimes don't know how to have a normal conversation with somebody else because they're so involved into, they might be great in sending a text message, right, or writing out an email, and they might sound like a completely different person through, technology, but then in person they might sound completely off or different.
Yeah,
because
they would not know how to talk to a human being face to face. They wouldn't know how to have a
conversation. Exactly.
Like, I called my mom twice a day.
Right.
I can send her a message. Hey, how are you, Mom? But I want to hear her voice.
Right.
I want to see what kind of mood she's in, and and same thing with friends.
Right.
But this thing, the texting and email.
Yeah, I mean that's the downfall of technology, or the downside, not downfall, downside of technology, where it's really helpful and resourceful, but a lot of times it does have those side effects, like you were saying, where it might...
The human interaction.
Yeah, it's taking away from real, genuine interaction from, a friend or a family member or anyone that you meet. But, and it can have its downfalls, right? Where you are focusing too much on your phone, where you're forgetting about spending time with your family, and everyone's on their phone all the time. I'm guilty of it myself, and with social media even more, that's all you're looking at is your phone. And same thing with work during the day, and then you're on your phone by the evening time, so you're not getting that interaction with your family members or friends as you would like to. So but then the upside of using the technology is there's so much out there. You can meet people from all over the world or get your business out there. It makes things so much easier for people who are running businesses or who are trying to make something of themselves or who are trying to meet somebody else or whatever. But it definitely has its downsides too. So.
Yeah, because I'm like, this is the discussion I have it with my nieces and nephews, my kids. All of them, just text it to them. Like we go, like if I would go to somebody's house for dinner, right? Next day I will call them.
Right.
And say, hey, thank you very much for inviting me. I had a great time. Blah, 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 whatever. But now they're like,
we'll just send a text.
Thanks for inviting us.
Yep. It's.
And I'm horrible in texting because I'm trying to say something else, but it comes out totally something else. That, no, that's not what I meant. Let me give you a call.
Right.
So, but anyway, well, Mr. Rahman, thank you. It was very, very intriguing, very educational for people my old age is trying to comprehend in that. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you
thank
for
you,
having
and
me.
and it's I know influencer and job and a mom and a wife and all of that, and so take your time out. You took your time out of that and came to us.
Yeah, of course.
So so it's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching Aap और आप, and inshallah अगर जिंदा रहे तो आपसे दोबारा मुलाकात होगी, and this is a wrap with Mrs. Rahman. खुदा हाफिज़.